So good day, everyone. Nice to be here with you again this beautiful day. I'm happy to be here back again. So I'm going to be talking to you guys on a topic that is very important, a topic that is going to help you in your journey of being a transformed person. Remember that your name is the transformed teenagers, and in your quest to become a transformed person, there are some basic things that you need to know. And today we're going to be talking about one of those things. There will be an assignment after the teaching, and I encourage you guys to do it. So today we'll be talking about how to develop good habits. Good habits are very, very important in developing a good personality, and they are the hallmark of becoming, a transformed individual. So I'll be talking about some few things about habit, and at the same time I'll be guiding you guys on how to develop good habits, and we're going to be doing an assignment. Every one of us will be doing it together. So very quickly, what are the basic things I want you guys to understand about habit? Habit is what you consciously do over time, which now gives you an identity through which people can identify you. I want us to get a point very clear. Habit is what you do consciously over time, which later gives you an identity through which people can now identify you. What do I mean by that? For example, now, if I am an individual who likes to go to programs, very punctual. I go to meeting very punctual every time. I intentionally, get out of bed. I intentionally, dress up, take my bath, and ensure that I get to meeting on time. Now, after some time, people will know me as a person who is punctual. Now, I become a person who is punctual not because I'm punctual to just a meeting, but I become a person who is punctual because I develop with time. It becomes my habit. It becomes something that I do every time consciously. And it gives me an identity that people knows me with. So if I'm a very punctual person to meeting, to programs, and to events, a time will come that people will know me as a punctual person. So it gives me an identity in the heart of people. So habit is firstly an intentional act that later takes hold of you to a point where you carry it out unconsciously. Remember, I said that it is an act that you carry out firstly consciously, and it later gets hold of you to a point that you begin to carry it out unconsciously. And if it is a good habit, it follows the same principle. If it is a bad habit, it follows the same principle. But today we're talking about how to cultivate a good habit, which means that if you intentionally cultivate a good habit, a time is going to come in your life whereby you just find it very easy to carry those habits out. For example, I gave the analogy of being punctual to events. Now, if you start it in your life that you want to get to meeting very punctual, you want to do things, on time to make sure you are punctual to activities, a time will come in your life whereby it just becomes part and parcel of you. You just wake up early in the morning, you just take your shower, you just, brush your teeth, you just put on your beautiful clothes, and you go to event punctual. So, but it starts with being intentional. It starts as a conscious act before it gets to a level whereby you carry it out unconsciously. Praise God. So habit, another point I want you guys to quickly pay attention to before we go into how do you develop a good habit. So habit is what gives you a name when people can't remember your name. Habit, it gives you a name when people cannot remember your name. For example, now my name is Joseph. If I have the habit of going to a program, I think that analogy is very familiar to you guys. That's why I'm using punctuality a lot. If I go to a program whereby I'm always very punctual when I get there, now a time will come when somebody want to describe me and the person cannot remember my name as being Joseph. The person can really say, oh, that brother that always come early to program, that brother that is always punctual to program. Now people can know me, they can talk about me even though they can't remember my name. And the same thing happens to bad habits. If you are the type that go to program very late, when people cannot remember your name, if your name is Joseph and they can't remember Joseph, all they will remember is that that guy that used to come late to program. So habits give you a name when people cannot remember your name. And very quickly, I want to say that transformation is a product of good habit formation. Transformation is always a product of good habit formation. So if you want to transform to become a better person as a teenager and you're listening to me today, one of the things you must give attention to is forming a good habit, because Good habit formation is what guarantees your transformation. So as many who can give their time to the cultivation of good habits, to the formation of good habits, one of the things that they will see in the long run is that they will see transformation in their life. And as teenagers, as transformed teenagers, one of the things that we teach here, we teach you guys, is that to ensure that you daily cultivate good habits, because that is what will guarantee your transformation. Thank you. And the last point under the clue, the points on habit, is that your tomorrow is a product of your habits today. Your tomorrow is a product of your habit today. Everything you dream about as teenagers, I know you guys have got beautiful dreams, you've got beautiful plans ahead, what you want to become in life, but what you want to become tomorrow is always a product of your habit today. So if you want to become a reader, a great reader tomorrow, your habit of reading every time today is what will determine what you become tomorrow. For example, input determines output. It is what you put into a thing that you get out of it. If you put into a printer that you want to get a printing machine, you want to get the printer to print you something, it is exactly what you put into that printer that the printer is going to print out for you. So the same thing happens to your life. The input you make, the cultivation of good habit, is what will determine your tomorrow, what you become tomorrow. So this is why it is important that you and I, as teenagers, at the age of our life now, we give attention to cultivation of good habit, because it is in it that we have an assurance of transformation. So very quickly, how to cultivate healthy habits. It is very, very important that when you know that it is good for you to have good habit, wisdom demands that you seek for insight on how to cultivate a good habit. You want to know, how do I need to cultivate this habit? What are the things I need to do? Number one thing, very fast, is that you must create an environment that supports the cultivation of the habits that you desire to have. I will repeat that again. You must create an environment that supports the cultivation of the habit that you desire to have. For example, now, if I desire to read every day, I want to be reading every day, one of the things I must do is that at the bedside of my bed, I must have a book there, that when I wake up, when I'm back on bed, I just check the book and I just read it. Even if it is just 2 pages, I just read it. So an environment must encourage the cultivation of the habit that you desire to have. For example, now, if I want to cultivate the habit of praying every day, one of the things I must do is that I must have like an alarm that talks about prayer, maybe an alarm that talks about prayer, and I set it every morning, maybe by 7 a.m. and by 7 a.m. the alarm is going to ring. Once the alarm rings, it's going to remind me, it's going to stimulate me to pray immediately. So you must intentionally create an environment. So one of the things you must do is that look at your room, look at your environment. What are the things you need to do to make sure that the habit you want to develop, the room supports the cultivation of that habit? Praise God. For example, now, if you want to become a good public speaker, let me just use that as an example. One of the environments you can create around your life is that you create you have like probably a flyer, a picture of somebody who is a public speaker, and that's going to encourage you, it's going to stimulate you to do what you like to do. So number 2 is that you must be specific in writing out the plan for the good habit that you want to learn. You must be specific about it. For example, if I want to, let's say I want to pray, I want to cultivate the habit for this month of April, I want to cultivate the habit of praying every day. Now, I must be specific in it, in the sense that I must say that I won't just say that, oh, I want to pray every day. I must say that I want to pray every day, every morning, between the hours of 7 to 7:30. So it is not just about I want to pray every day. Every day I put the time to it, and I put the time frame to it. Between 7 and 7:30, I want to do it every day. So you are more specific. You are not just saying every day. Every day can be in the evening, every day can be in the afternoon, every day can be in the morning. So you are very specific about it. Remember, the first thing is creating an environment. Number 2 is being specific. Number 2 is that create a reward system that motivates you to do the habit that you want to have. Create a reward system that motivates you to cultivate the habit that you desire. I'm going to explain that again. For example, now, if I want to cultivate the habit of, okay, let's say throughout the month of April, I want to be praying every day. I want to pray every 30 minutes every day. Now, I must create a reward system at the end of that 30 days, such that, oh, if I'm able to do this at the end of 30 days, oh, I'm going to buy myself this, I'm going to gift myself this, I'm going to buy, something that will make me happy for myself. So what have you done? You have created a reward system such that at the end of the time that you have set for the cultivation of that habit, you are going to reward yourself. And one of the importance of that is that reward system, it creates a motivation system. It motivates you to subscribe into that habit. For example, if you want to read, let's say you want to read for 30 days, you have created that, okay, I want to cultivate the habit of reading, every time. At the end of the month, find a reward system. Maybe you want to buy yourself a gift, you want to do something that makes you happy, you want to go to gym, you want to go for a sightseeing, just to make yourself happy. Create it, because it's going to motivate you to do that. Number 3 is that I'm going to talk about a 2-minute principle. A 2-minute principle is very important because it helps you in your cultivation of good habits. And how does this help you? For example, now, if I want to, let's say I want to go to the gym, I want to cultivate the habit of going to the gym, or I want to cultivate the habit of praying. Let me use the habit of praying. If you want to cultivate the habit of praying, the 2-minute principle, what it says is that, let's say I wake up early in the morning and I want to pray. I must determine that for the first 2 minutes, okay, I'm going to set, I'm going to rise up, play a prayer message that's going to help me to start praying. And the first 2 minutes, I'm going to start praying. First 2 minutes. Once you can be faithful to the first 2 minutes, you will discover that motivation will start coming. You want to keep doing it. You want to keep doing it. For example, if you want to go to the gym, let's say you want to go to the gym now, the first 2 minutes, one of the things you want to do for the first 2 minutes is that you want to get off your bed, you want to put up your sneakers that you're going to use for the gym, you want to put up your vest that you're going to use for the gym, you want to start jogging the first 2 minutes. Once you start doing that for the first 2 minutes, it becomes very easy for you to continue doing it for maybe the next 30 minutes or the next 1 hour that you have set out as planned for yourself. But if you can't obey the first 2 minutes, it becomes very difficult. So my advice to you guys is that the first 2 minutes, make sure you obey the principle. Anything you cultivate as a habit that you want to do, even if it looks like probably your habit is to read a book every day, the first 2 minutes, pick the book, open the page and start reading it. The first 2 minutes. Once you start reading it, you will get interested in the book. You will see that within the next 30 minutes, you would have, read the book for so long. So obedience to the first 2 minutes is very, very important. And the last one I will talk today is the 1% daily improvement plan. 1% daily improvement plan. If you want to cultivate a good habit, it is very, very important that you understand that, there's a saying that says that a little drop of water makes a big ocean, a mighty ocean. And that is the same thing. If every day or every month you are making a contribution into your pocket, you're making it into your contribution pot, every day or every month on monthly basis, at the end of the year you will discover that you've got a lot of money at hand that you can use to buy things. Now that a lot of money that you have, you don't just have it at the end of the year, you add it every day, every month. You are contributing it every month till it became a huge sum of money that you can use to purchase what you want. The same thing goes to habit. Habit is cultivated daily, weekly, monthly, before it becomes part and parcel of your life. So you must be intentional about it, that every day I want to read something, I want to do something to my habit. So when you check the day, you have 24 hours, and out of the 24 hours you must say to yourself, this day I want to add 1%, I want to add 1%, I want to add 1%. What do I need today? Have I read my book today? Have I studied today? Have I prayed today? Have I done one thing? So as you continue to do that on daily basis, you will see that transformation will become your possession. You will see that growth will become your experience. And this is what we are so much passionate about in the Transform Teens Teenager. Cultivate a habit and apply all the 5 principles I've talked about. The first principle talks about the principle of creating a healthy environment that supports the cultivation of the habit that you desire to have. The second principle talks about creating an healthy reward system, buying yourself a gift at the end of the plan, the habits that you want to cultivate. Number 3 talks about the 2 minute. Number 3 talks about the 2 minute rule, the 2 minute principle. And number 4 talks about being specific. You must be specific in what you want. And the last one talks about 1 minute improvement grow. You must have it. And why you do all of these things, I can assure you that you will have a good habit, and your future can be predictable. You can predict your future when you have a good habit.